Good afternoon. I've risen to speak to you today on behalf of Dr. Ron Paul, the 10-term Republican congressman from Texas. My name is Jonathan Beauregard, born and raised in this great state of Kansas. I am young, married, college-educated veteran of the U.S. Army. I've come here today to humbly ask for your help in restoring our republic. America has been called the Great Experiment. While democracy as a form of government has been around since ancient Greece, our founding fathers had a new idea in pursuit of democracy. America was to be a constitutional republic. A constitutional republic is a representative central government whose powers are limited by a constitution. As so eloquently stated in the 10th Amendment, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. The principles of limited government, realizing in the words of Ronald Reagan that government is not the solution to our problem, government is the problem. Nearly every problem we face today as a nation can be attributed to our failure to adhere to the Constitution and the advice of the Founding Fathers. Dr. Ron Paul is a strict constitutionalist known in Washington as Dr. No. He has never voted to raise taxes. He has never voted for an unbalanced budget. He has never voted to raise congressional pay, and he has never voted to increase the power of the executive branch. You begin to get the idea why they call him Dr. No, and the taxpayer's best friend in Congress. You see, Dr. Paul is different from the typical congressman. He is a statesman, not a politician. He stands firmly on the side of the Constitution and the rule of law. So who is Ron Paul? He is a veteran of the Air Force where he served his country as a flight surgeon. He is an OB doctor who has delivered over 4,000 babies. Ron Paul has been married to his wife Carol for over 50 years and is the father of 5 and grandfather of 18. You could say that Dr. Paul's medical background gives him a unique perspective on the sanctity of life. In his many years of medical practice, he has never once found it necessary to perform an abortion. Dr. Paul supports the overturning of the Roe v. Wade decision, both in his personal belief and in the belief that it is an issue the Constitution does not give the federal government the power to decide. Ron Paul understands that the Second Amendment is not about hunting, it is not about sporting, but that as the founders intended, it provides the people with the last line of defense against tyranny in government. Quite likely, the most difficult issue that will face the next president of the United States is the economy. Ron Paul is the only tried and true fiscal conservative and the only candidate with an intimate understanding of our nation's economy. Reckless government spending and deficit financing hurts all Americans by driving inflation. Any of you that have bought gas, eggs, or milk knows that the cost of living has skyrocketed these past few years. The future of our republic demands that we return to conservative values, the Republican values of fiscal responsibility and small government. Returning to these principles, reducing the size of the federal government, and promoting a humble foreign policy will allow Americans to keep more money in their own pockets. Ron Paul believes that you can better decide how to spend your money than government bureaucrats 1,000 miles away. Ron Paul believes in strongly defending the sovereignty of the United States and promoting a humble foreign policy, following wisely the words of Thomas Jefferson, and I quote, "Peace, commerce, and an honest friendship with all nations, and entangling alliances with none." Ron Paul represents a return to the traditional Republican principles of non-intervention, understanding that the power of American ideals, the power of diplomacy, and the power of trade will accomplish more in peace than can ever be accomplished in war. For a soldier, character is paramount. I have no use for a man who will not stay true to his word and true to his oath. Ron Paul is a man of character, and like me, he has taken an oath. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. As you decide for whom to cast your ballot, I beseech you, examine carefully the candidates and ask yourself, has he upheld his oath to support and defend the Constitution? There is hope for America, and with your help we can restore our republic. The future begins here today, here with you, and your vote for Ron Paul. Thank you, and I can answer your questions.